Welcome to the swamps of Dominaria. Hope you're excited. As far as opening hand goes, yeah, if we had two lanes, I'd keep on this one. Let's go in Mulligan. Yes, we can make this work. We have Temple of Mystery, Birthing Pod, Growing Rites of Itlamok. I like this hand a lot. We'll get Muldrotha pop back up, and then almost said Dominaria pop back up. I just love thinking about Muldrotha being all of Dominaria. Manglehorn against Arvad the Cursed. Let's go ahead and put that on the bottom for right now. Yeah, we're gonna put that on the bottom. You know, if we kind of knew what if our opponent was off to a quick start, we'd put it on top. But at this point, we'll get the Scry going, Temple of Mystery, and then get down Growing Rites of Itlamok and go from there. Let's go and get down Temple of Mystery, get the Scry going, the Scurry, the Fever, the Insanity. All right, there we go. Glimpse and Think. Yes, I love that. Glimpse and Thinkable. We'll put that on top in a heartbeat. Anything else, we're gonna go and pass the turn to our opponent. You too. There we go. And we are playing Muldrotha, the Gravetide. That's going to be 6 converted mana cost. During each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent type of each permanent type from your graveyard. And we draw into Glimpse the Unthinkable. Let's go and shock this Watery Grave in. We're going to pay 2, then glimpse ourselves for 10, and that's some good magic right there. All right. Glimpse ourselves for 10. That's I play Soul type Vengevine in Modern, and glimpsing yourself for 10. Yeah, it makes for some good times. Playing against Arvad the Cursed. I may be saying that wrong, but hey, we're going to roll with it. Death Touch, Lifelink. Other legendary creatures you control get +2/+2. And actually, Arvad, whatever his name is, let's name him Arv for this video. It's going to be Arv. So for Arv, I've been thinking about building him. He looks like it'd be a really fun commander. Let's go to get down. Actually, I don't know which direction I would take Arv, but it's something I definitely want to do. Let's go and get down Island. We can go for Growing Rites of Itlamok, but I think I kind of like, look at the top 4 cards, put a creature or land. I guess either way, let's go and go for Growing Rites of Itlamok. I mean, we'll get it down, and that's something that, who knows, maybe we get a few creatures on the battlefield and get it to kind of flip a little bit quick. Because either way, you're going to be looking at the top 4 cards of our library. At this point, let's go and grab Baleful Strix. That's going to give us a card draw. And we'll put those on the bottom in any order. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We cover both commanders' free time. We can talk about whatever we want. That's going to be Muldrotha. So, during each of your turns, you may play up to one permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. Sorry, I just kind of start and restart on that one. Long story short, so we can play stuff like Mesmeric Orb, you can play Enchantment, Seal, Primordium. We've got a few creatures in here that we can exploit and kind of keep reusing and different things like that. So that's kind of the main gist of what we're doing with Muldrotha. Let's go and get Swamp down. At this point, yeah, let's go and go for Satyr. I think that's pretty good. And we can actually get down both of them. We'll go and tap out on this one. And then we'll leave up just enough mana for Baleful Strix. That way we can get that card draw and then kind of start going from there. All right. Ooh, nice choice off this one. Let's go ahead and grab, I guess, Temple of Malady. If we need to, like, tutor really bad for, like, Temple of the False God of Sidisi, we can do that. Yeah, let's go and do this. Let's go and grab Overgrown Tomb. That way we can at least shock that in later. Let's go for Baleful Strix. It's going to be black and blue. Get down this. I love the artwork on this. It's so pretty. Look at that. Looks good. All right. We're going to enter the battlefield, draw a card, draw into Dakmor Salvage. Anything else, we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. But yes, as far as this particular build, this is pretty much just a enter the battlefield creature style deck. Just get a ton of value into the graveyard and start putting that value back onto the battlefield so we can show it off to our opponent and then hopefully show them how fun it is to win with Sultai. That's the main goal with Muldrotha. Is to have our opponent leave saying, oh man, I should have built a Sultai deck instead of my black-white deck. That's what we're going for. All right, John is going to swing in, deal that first strike damage up here, put us down to 26, and then get that additional +1 counter on there. But yeah, as far as Arv, it's something that, I don't necessarily want to go vampires or something like that. I wish we could, but I just kind of want to go get a hodgepodge of legendary creatures. All right, so we're looking at Overgrown Tomb. Let's do this. We could put the salvage into play. I like shocking this in. We're going to shock, go down to 24. Let's go for Sidisi. And I'm going to go ahead and go for Temple of the False God. That's going to put us online next turn for a good chunk of mana. We have Dakmor Salvage in the hand, so if we don't hit the land drop, we're not going to be able to get down Muldrotha. And I guess at this point right now, if we wanted to, we can actually just sacrifice Satyr. Yeah, I think I like that. Sacrifice Satyr, and then... yes, we're going to use that ability. Let's go and grab Temple of the False God. Let's go and pop this out just a little bit. Don't want to click on the wrong card. There we go. Temple of the False God. That's going to go into our hand, and then anything else we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. Now, Drana does have first strike, so if we get into this weird holding pattern to where we just keep throwing Baleful Strix in front of Drana, we can definitely do that. And that's one of the fun things about playing this deck is that you end up with these repeated lines of play. You keep getting these cards out of the graveyard. One of the fun things that we are running in here is Lion's Eye Diamond. That works really well with the deck. It's 0 converted mana cost. We can discard our hand, which is most of the time it's fun to get into the graveyard anyway. But we discard our hand to Lion's Eye Diamond, add that 3 mana to our mana pool, and then we get to, yeah, kind of go to town on that. Outside of that, and as far as our graveyard is concerned, we do have Seal Primordium. That's something that we can cast out of the graveyard and use that to target something like Sword of the Animist. And like I was saying, Sidisi's Faithful, you know, some of these exploit creatures work really well in a Muldrotha deck, at least I've found so far. Exploit and Evoke is just, you know, anything that you can use to cheat your creature out cheaper than normal, or that has some sort of enter the battlefield effect. All right, opponent's going to be swinging with Drana. With us sitting at 24, that's going to put us down to 20. We're taking another hit. They get down Arv. Yeah, let's go and throw Baleful Strix in front of this one. I'm okay with that. We don't want to preserve just a little bit of life total on this one before we can hopefully kind of stabilize. It does turn us down off Growing Rights of Itlamok, but we're going to make that work. Let's get down Temple of the False God. Let's go ahead and go for Muldrotha. And if I was looking at it correctly, we might be able to exploit that Drana back to the hand. We'll be in a pretty good position. Yeah, I think we will. All right, we're going to get down Muldrotha. Let's go ahead and go for Sidisi's Faithful. And let's go ahead and cast that out of the graveyard. For 1 blue mana, return target creature to its owner's hand. We're going to bounce Drana back. That way it's going to reset on those counters and make it to where our opponent's just either going to have to get down Arv or do something else for the turn. A little bit of a tempo play. All right. We're going to exploit Sidisi's Faithful, and let's go and bounce Drana back to the hand. There we go. Now, the fun thing about Sidisi's Faithful is that we're running a really nice Enter the Battlefield style deck with this deck. You can see we have stuff like Satyr Wayfinder. Now, we do have more explosive stuff that we can be doing. Let's go and swing with Sidisi, put our opponent down to 24. There's more explosive things we can do with Enter the Battlefields, but, you know, getting down something like Deranged Hermit, casting Sidisi's Faithful out of the graveyard again, bouncing another creature back to recast it. A lot of fun. There's a lot of different interactions in this deck, and typically what I look for in a new deck to see how fun it is or how excited I am about getting into the rotation going forward is, you know, how fun it is to operate. That's a really big deal for me when I build these new decks. I always want to make sure that I'm building something that is something that you can invest into. Like when people typically a new set's release, that's where I get most of my subscribers from. Or at least I get a big chunk of subscribers is people saying like typing in Muldrotha Commander, then my video pops up. And so the way I like to build decks for new sets is, you know, I just want to show you a functional build. You know, this is something that not obviously, but it's something that you can invest into with the cards and then kind of go from there. Our opponent's going to go for Council's Judgment. More than likely, we're going to see Muldrotha on this one. Yeah, 1 vote. We'll vote for Muldrotha too. That's fine. And so we'll get that closed out. Get the Muldrotha pop back up. Now that was our opponent pretty much kind of tapping out for the turn. We still have Sidisi swinging in for a 4/6. I think with the land drop, we're still going to be able to get down Muldrotha and then kind of go from there. Let's go and go for Windswept Heath. Let's go and push in with Sidisi. That's going to be 4/6 coming across. Put it down to 20, which we're going to get ahead on that life total game, that life total race. And then we'll see if we got enough mana to get down Muldrotha. That's going to be 8 total mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, we should have enough, I think. Yeah, 1, 2, 6. Yeah, we got just enough to tap out from Muldrotha. Let's go ahead and crack Windswept Heath. Get that into the graveyard. Oh, and also, if you're a fan of Hypnotoad, if you enjoy yourself some Gitrog, hey, he's in here. Oh, yeah. There's a few decks that I run that sometimes feel a little clunky as far as like pushing Gitrog in there, but this one, oh, Gitrog is right at home. He loves himself a really good swamp, as so do I. We'll go and tap out from Muldrotha. I don't think there's anything we can take advantage of out of the graveyard at this point right now. Yeah, we've already made the land drop for the turn. Anything else, we're going to pass turn to our opponent. Now, the only thing that we do need to get going is we do have some protection for Muldrotha. We do have Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots. So if we can get one of those down, it's at least going to keep us off some sort of spot removal and really allow us to start churning through our deck. Another good thing would be Life from the Loam or Excavator, to where we can start making some land drops out of the graveyard. But really with Muldrotha, man, I mean, you're playing Sultai Graveyard, and you just end up with a ton of lands on the battlefield, which makes for a really good fun time. All right, opponent's going to go for Toxic Deluge, send in Muldrotha and Sidisi into the graveyard. Let's go and do this. We don't have enough. We have to make the land drop next turn. Let's go and get down Dakmor Salvage. Let's go and go for Fauna Shaman, and then we'll also go for Birthing Pod. I think 1, 2. Yeah, we'll have just enough on that. Actually, let's do it this way. Birthing Pod, we're going to pay that 2 live, and then we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Fauna Shaman, 1 more activation. Yeah, okay. We're going to get down Birthing Pod. Let's go for Fauna Shaman. We don't have a creature card to discard, so we may end up just going and starting to go up the chain of command off this this Birthing Pod. Let's get down Fauna Shaman. Sorry if I hit the mic with my my hand right there. Let's go ahead and go Birthing Pod activation, 1 green mana, then 2 off Temple of the False God. We'll sacrifice Fauna Shaman. We'll see what we want to grab off this one. Okay, let's get this popped out. At this point right now, we can go for Eternal Witness, bringing something back to the hand if that's something that we want to go for. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and go for Tireless Tracker. There we go. All right, anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. I like Tireless Tracker in this one. You know, let's say that our opponent has a ton of removal. They're going to be able to keep getting rid of Muldrotha. At this point right now, I really like getting down Tireless Tracker, and that's going to allow us to start getting some of our clue tokens. That way, at least it gives us something to do if Muldrotha gets sent back to the graveyard a bunch of times. Now, Muldrotha has been, the command zone, has been sent back twice now, so it's going to be 6, 8, 10. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to be exactly just enough mana to tap out for Muldrotha. Now, one thing that we can go for is if we don't want to end up going for Muldrotha next turn, is we can kind of start going up that chain. As far as this deck is concerned, we don't really have a particular combo with Birthing Pod other than just getting into value at each converted mana cost. That's kind of basically what this deck is set up as. It's just a value deck. So there's not really a lot of things that we can work towards. In fact, I think the converted mana cost, it kind of tops off at about 5, to be honest, just because we want to be as low to the ground as possible and get as many creatures on the battlefield as possible too. Almost thought we skipped through our turn. That was really scary. Click OK. All right, there we go. Sometimes when you hit like F6, it'll do stuff like that. All right, so our opponent did go for the exile 1 creature at the beginning of your next upkeep. We did get down Polluted Delta, so let's do this. Let's go ahead. We're gonna have to crack that either way. Do we want to go for Muldrotha? We're not going to be able to cast it. They're going to go for the plus on Muldrotha. I guess at this point right now, let's just go ahead and pass the turn. I think that's okay. We're going to go and pass the turn. At least we're going to get a Polluted Delta crack. We'll be able to get that clue token onto the battlefield. If we want to sacrifice it for Birthing Pod in response to something, we can definitely do that. And we'll at least just get an additional clue token. We'll kind of see what our opponent's going to roll out at this point. But I'm not, as far as what we're going to grab with converted mana cost 4, I know we do have Ravenous Chupacabra in here. Each opponent discards a card and then you draw a card. Let's, yeah, we'll go and get, actually, let's go do this. Let's go crack Polluted Delta. I just want to get a fresh look at this, what we've got going on in the hand. Let's go and get down Swamp. We're going to actually get down that Underground Sea. We'll get that clue token. Let's go and crack that clue token. Tap that Temple of the False God. There we go. 1, 2. Crack the clue token. You know, if we need to start making our land drops to make sure we can get down Muldrotha, we want to make sure that we can at least hold on to these lands instead of discarding them. All right. Draw an additional card off that. Life from the Loam. Wonderful. Exactly what we need. And then at this point right now, what we may end up doing is simply just discarding Life from the Loam. That's something that we can dredge next turn, really start to getting our graveyard going. And then I think that actually sounds like a pretty good plan. Now, when you're playing a graveyard style deck, even like, you know, Life from the Loam is just an absolutely all-star in any graveyard deck. It's just always going to keep your hand full for situations like this where Kai is attacking your hand, making us discard a card. But at the same time, you're going to get in spots where you can really just make sure that you're always hitting your land drop. So even if you do get in this weird kind of draw-go game to where you're just looking at the top deck and you're putting your land down, having Life from the Loam is going to make sure you have more than enough lands in your hand to keep making your land drops. And then that way, when you do finally have that one turn where you're going to try and get everything down at once, you're at least going to be able to have more than enough mana to do whatever you need to do. Okay, opponent's going to go for Vana, Butcher Magon. Pay 7 life, destroy target non-land permanent, activate this ability only during your turn. And they're going to get the Lightning Greaves on Vana. Now, one thing that we do have Merciless Executioner out of the graveyard. So if somehow we do get down Fauna Shaman or something, we can actually activate Birthing Pod and grab our second sacrifice creature. But at this point, we're going to let Vana swing on through. They're going to deal 4. What we could have declared Tireless Tracker a blocker, but once they swing in, like I said, either way, they're going to go for it on that one. Yeah, that's fine. Take care of Tireless Tracker. We could have blocked it on that one and forced the issue, but I was going to see if maybe they're going to go for Birthing Pod or something like that, just to have Tireless Tracker around for another turn with some fetch lands or something to get a few more clue tokens. Let's go and crack, let's go Life from the Loam, dredge a little bit more. Another thing that we are definitely looking for is going to be the land that allows us to get our commander out of our, out of the command zone. I can't think cannot remember the name of it. But if that's something that eventually we can mill into, that would really help us get a game plan going. Do we want to go for Muldrotha? Let's see how much it's going to cost. That's going to be right at 7. It's going to be 10 total mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. If we simply get down Muldrotha, what's going to end up happening is that their opponent's going to go for Vana activation and take care of it. Let's go for this. Let's go for Life from the Loam. By dredging this way, we're simply just going to get into a spot to where we're going to let's grab that Temple of Malady. Let's go green and then Dakmor Salvage. We're going to be able to see more cards by dredging Life from the Loam. And hopefully, maybe we can find either something like Lightning Greaves, and we dredge into that one land that helps us get it down. I think it's Command Beacon. I think that might be it. Basically, it's a land that says sacrifice this land and then put your commander into your hand. And the cool thing about that is that you can just keep using it. You can use Muldrotha's ability to keep playing that land out of your graveyard, and you always have access to it. So it's another fun way to kind of cheat the commander tax. Let's go and discard Force at this point right now, and then we'll see what our opponent's going to get down. Now, they do have 7 cards in the hand, so more than likely, even if we can get down Muldrotha, it would appear that opponent's got some overwhelming value. I mean, for the most part, we would see more stuff onto the battlefield if it wasn't some spot removal, at least in this certain scenario. We are sitting at turn 10. We are sitting at turn 10, and our opponent's got what would seem to be like an aggressive style deck. So that's something we do have to watch out for with that mana. If they're not getting creatures out there, we're going to probably have to assume that it's either a board wipe or some sort of spot removal. All right, opponent's going to get down Hero's Blade, unless it's a bunch of artifacts, and that'll help get it done. The Cloud Keeper. Yeah, I need to get that in here. That's something that would really help with Muldrotha on this particular one. All right. I'm just going to shift the Lightning Greaves over onto Arv. We're going to have Vana swing in. That's going to be 12 coming across, putting us down to 4. And they will be online for an activation, too. Destroy target non-land permanent. They're going to go for Birthing Pod. That's okay. So at this point right now, we're kind of stuck on dredging this Life from the Loam. We'll see what we can rip into. We do have Toxic Deluge in the deck, and we also have Damnation. I guess at this point, if we're going to go for Damnation or Toxic Deluge, we're not going to be able to have enough life to pay for that. So yeah, let's go dredge on Life from the Loam. Fertile Ground, Intuition, and Birthing Pod. Okay. We get down Muldrotha. They go for a Vana activation once they swing in. I mean, we're still going to go and get it down. They still have a Kaya activation to get rid of Muldrotha, but yeah, it's not looking too hot. Let's go and get down Muldrotha. That's a good game by our opponent. You can see where, simply just building a black-white control deck. Like, I have a Vana deck that I put out on my channel, and Vana is always a lot of fun, and black-white control and commander tends to make for a very interesting game, and especially with Kaya, Ghost Assassin. Now, we can make a land drop out of the graveyard, but at this point right now, with only about 2 mana, I'm not really sure there's really much we can go for Sidisi's Faithful, kind of bounce that creature back to the hand. That will, complicate things. Yeah, let's go and do that. Let's go for Sidisi's Faithful. That's going to be 1 blue mana. And we're going to bring that out. We're going to bounce Vana back to the hand. That way they'd recast it. Exploit Sidisi's Faithful. We'll sacrifice that and then return Vana back to the hand. At least it's going to force them to tap out for it. They can get into spots where they have to do some more shifting around with Lightning Greaves. Anything else? Let's go and get down Forest. Let's go and go for Exploration. We'll play an additional land too off of this one. And let's go and get down Temple of Malady. That way, if somehow we're going to set up a scry or something like that, we can kind of go for that. Martial Arts is going to put that on the bottom for right now. Anything else, we're going to go and pass turn to our opponent. I'm just going to get down Temple of Silence to get that scry going. But yeah, you can see how, getting your graveyard developed makes for a really fun match. Unfortunately, our opponent was able to, that Council's Judgment really kind of turned the tide on Muldrotha, and our opponent is going to go for a Kaya activation for that ability. Yep, there we go. You'll be able to swing it for a 6/5. Take care of it. Good game to our opponent. Definitely enjoyed playing a good interactive match like this. But yeah, you can be thankful we got a good graveyard going. You can see where it really does help to have some sort of protection from Muldrotha. We do have Lightning Greaves and Swiftfoot Boots, but unfortunately we couldn't get into those. And then also, even if you don't have Lightning Greaves or protection from Muldrotha, simply getting down the land that's going to bring Muldrotha out of your command zone into your hand to keep recasting it is always a really good way to kind of get around that commander tax and help you, hopefully, get close to winning the game. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.